Are you a bargain hunter? Or are you just one of those people who wants to build a PC for the sake of it, like me? Today I'm going to take a look at the CCL Black Friday deals, and I'm actually going to try and buy some components to build what is hopefully the cheapest viable PC that I possibly can. Once I've done this, once I've bought the components and they've been delivered, I'm actually going to do a live build video, which is a first for my channel. I never go live, so hopefully when I do get the components it's going to be quite an interesting ride. I'm going to be buying components from CCL Computers, which is quite local to where I live, just up the road in Bradford. And as you can see behind my big head, there is actually a Bradford City football there. If you're a Leeds fan, don't be upset. I don't hold any grudges, and hopefully you won't either. If you want to troll me in the comments, then as always you're more than welcome to. Right, let's crack on with it. Here we go. No tricks here, just simply on the CCL homepage. Tempting as it may be to just go directly to the Black Friday sale and start our build, I'm not actually going to do that. I'm going to use their wonderful website to try and find the cheapest components that will help me build a viable PC. So I'm actually going to start with processors. Now the reason I'm going to do that is because the cost of the system will vary depending on whether or not I use an Intel processor or an AMD processor. Now what you just need to bear in mind is I am trying to build the cheapest PC I can with fairly modern components. So let's take a look. So I'm going to first go into AMD processors, and I'm just going to sort by price, to be honest with you, to find the cheapest. So we've got the AMD Ryzen 3100 at 3.6 gigahertz for £108 and 2 pence. And then if we just go back and we'll take a look at Intel. So I've actually I've accidentally found here that by going to all processors, I found that the Celeron G5900 is a lot cheaper. Obviously the performance is not going to be anywhere near that of the AMD processor, but I did say it the cheapest, so we're going to get this with 2 cores and 2 threads. The beauty of this is it's a socket 1200 processor, so it will work with a modern motherboard. So if at a later date I want to upgrade the processor, it'll be quite a straightforward swap. So I'm just going to add that to basket. Boom, there we go, one item in the basket. £32.26 so far. So now what I want to do, I need a motherboard that's compatible with this processor. So it's a socket 1200 as already mentioned. So what I'm going to do is just go into components again, and I'm going to look at Intel motherboards, and I'll sort price low to high. So we've got that's a socket 1151. Just watch for that when you're searching. So socket 1200, if I put a filter on with that, and we find here that the cheapest one, because they're sorted price low to high, is the Gigabyte H410MH, and that's an Intel socket 1200 motherboard. So we know it's going to be compatible because it's the same socket. Socket 1200 is actually quite a recent one, so sometimes you risk buying, if for example you're on a second generation processor for a particular socket, then you might end up having to upgrade the firmware on the motherboard. Not the firmware, it's not a phone, the BIOS with the latest. And so this one will be fine, so we're going to add that to basket. You will notice there's a couple of other very similar boards which are a few quid extra. I'm not going to go into details because you'll end up just stopping the video and going somewhere else. So we're going to add that to basket. So we've now got a processor and a motherboard, and we're at £88 and 93 pence. What do we need next? I think we will go into components, and I don't know if you've noticed, but they're in a particular order that seems to be quite suitable. So I'm just going to check on the motherboard, just double check what speed RAM we can go to. We know it's DDR4, it says that right there. We can go up to 64 gigabytes across 2 slots, so that'd be 2 sticks of 32 gigabytes at a maximum. I'm just going to go into the specifications and just check. So we can go up to, there we go. So pretty much any of the modern standards, apart from maybe 3200 megahertz. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go and find some memory that's DDR4, not laptop, and we will see what we can get. So if I go low to high, we're getting some 4 gigabyte sticks here. So I want to be going for 8 as a minimum. So if I just change that up to 8 gigabyte minimum, we should get the cheapest 8 gigabyte DDR4 stick of RAM. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but obviously the higher the clock speed, the faster potentially the RAM can run. Just bear in mind though, we are putting quite a cheap processor in there, and we can upgrade this at a later date. I think, to be honest, I'm just going to get this one here. So the CCL Choice 8 gigabyte, 2666 megahertz. I'll just add that to basket. I'm not going to go any higher than 8 gig at this stage. Again, at a later date we can upgrade the RAM. And don't forget, if you buy 8 and you then want 16 to fill one of the slots, then you can actually sell your RAM to fund that. Obviously not the full lot, but you can fund it a little bit. Next, on components, we're not going to put a graphics card in there. I will just quickly explain why. I'm just going to go into the basket. If we look at the Celeron, it's actually got a built-in GPU, which is somewhere on here. So we've got the UHD 610, which base frequency is 350 megahertz, but it does boost to 1.05 gigahertz. This is not going to be a gaming PC for obvious reasons. However, we might get away with playing some esports titles, but we'll worry about that when the components have arrived. So we're not going to buy a graphics card. Storage, let's just go have a quick look at the motherboard. Now I actually I have quite a few spare hard drives, so I'm not going to buy much physical storage for this. We're just going to check on here, and I can see there's clearly on the main picture, there we go, there is an M.2 slot. So I will just double check. If I can find where it's listed. And I can't see it. There we go. M.2 support, yes. That's good news. So I'm going to get some M.2 storage to take advantage of the modern abilities of this motherboard. So I'll just go again into components as storage, and it'll be not stored, I'm talking about storage too much. It will be under solid state drives. Just one thing I would pay attention to when you're buying storage, make sure you're not buying storage that isn't going to be used to its full potential by your motherboard. So I'll just show you in this example on our motherboard that we've added to the basket. If we just get up the specifications, just check what version of PCI Express you've got. So we just scroll down, there we go, PCI Express 3. So do not buy storage that is optimized for PCI Express 4, because you're not going to get those extra speeds. You might get a little bit of extra performance out of it, but it's highly unlikely. So just go back to components, storage, solid state drives. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to change this to the M.2 2280 filter. So this one is this Kingston one. Tempting as it may be just to save a few quid, this one is only a SATA 3 drive. What you want to be looking for in the case of this motherboard is getting a PCI Express 3 NVMe key. So this one here, if you look at the read speeds on the SATA 3 ones, you're looking at about just over, well, between 500 and 545 megabits a second. If we do it on PCI 3 cards, it jumps right up. So I'm going to get that one. It's only a couple of quid extra as well, which is nice. Plus you get an extra 8 gigabytes. Very interesting. So that's going to be our storage. I do have spare hard drives, so it's not the end of the world if I want to add more, or if you want to add more later if you're copying my build. Next up, we're going to need a case. Being completely honest, I'm really not too bothered what case we get for this PC. I just want it to have enough space for some additional storage, a sizable enough power supply, so if we do want to add a graphics card later, we can do that. So what I'm going to actually look for is, I'm going to get a bundle, so one with a power supply included. So I've got them all here, priced low to high. You see right at the top, PSU not included. I don't really want to add one because it tends to work out a bit more expensive. You admittedly won't get a very good power supply if you get it bundled with a case, unless it's an expensive one, but in this case we're going for a cheap one. So here we go. The cheapest one I can find here is this one, the First Player A6 mid-tower case, which has got a 500 watt power supply included, which will be more than enough. And it'll go up to an ATX motherboard, so there'll be plenty of space. Just going to quickly open that up, just scan through and make sure it's got everything we need. It's looking quite good. Yeah, I can't see anything missing that we might want. Front HDMI, not really come across that before, but they must exist, so we'll take a look at it. Looks tidy enough. It's going to be one of those, it's like a razor blade when you open it up, so just be very careful if you do purchase this. Just going to add that to the basket. So that's not bad that, £24.92 for a case with a power supply. It'll do the job. And there we have it. A very basic build, which I am now going to purchase. So when all of the components arrive, I'm actually going to build this and I'm going to do it live, uninterrupted, unedited, for the first time ever on my channel. I've had quite a lot of demand for this from some of you in the comments, so I thought, well, why not give it a go. So once these arrive, I'll keep you posted. If you don't follow me on Instagram, etc., then do follow me and you will be able to find out when I start getting the parts, really. So that's it. Make sure you subscribe so you do not miss the video when I go live and do my very first live build. Oh, it's going to get messy. I might get some beers in just to make it a bit more fun. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.